Go, hey.
Oh yeah. Good
We
morning.
pulled it off. Let me raise my desk here so I can actually see you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. And yourself?
I'm doing well. So let everybody know, where in the world are you coming to us from?
I am currently in Amsterdam in the office.
In the office. What time is it there?
Uh, it is 2:45 afternoon.
2:45 in the afternoon. Okay, at 5:45 a.m. here in Washington State. And we made it happen, man. I really appreciate you, sneaking this into the workday.
Oh yeah. I had to write, pencil it into my agenda, so to speak, as an appointment, so people wouldn't block it.
You know, there's a couple directions I want to go with you and chat about some stuff. Your little synopsis of your background and all that is super cool. But maybe we start with the fact that one of the other things I really enjoy about following you and seeing you is exactly this. You're like you're like Superman, where you walk into a phone booth wearing a suit and then you exit the phone booth in your workout gear because you're always posting. You've got a professional job, but you change your clothes and then you walk outside and you do a lot of your workouts like outside in a park, don't you?
Absolutely, yeah, at the playground in front of my house.
Absolutely phenomenal. I mean, just going to show you don't need a lot of fancy gear there. And what do they have at the playground? Because you seem to make a lot of workouts happen at the playground, which is
Well,
crazy.
yeah, all because of the whole lockdown. I started to compile, let's say, my own little assortment of gear, so to speak. I already had a barbell, but it was always in the gym, and got my hands on a couple of plates, and then dumbbells, and obviously the rope and the rings. And I have a very, how do you call that? Uh, I can be very inspirational with the fact that, oh, I see opportunities in environments where I could do a workout with certain things that are offered to me, such as, we have this weird climbing construction in the playground, and there's exactly just enough space for me to do pull-ups.
Oh, that's
It's a
awesome.
wide grip bar, but I can manage to do strict pull-ups there. I can do kipping pull-ups. Butterflies is getting tricky because you just basically lose the grip on it. And yeah, that's also how I go about with my holidays. I always find opportunities to, oh, I can jump on this particular thing, or I can hang on this particular thing, and then just try and find fitness.
Man, I love that. Not to get off track already, but I think one of the things that not enough people realize is, some people can get so locked into whatever is exactly the workout of the day, precisely as it is written, like that is the prescription that's going to make me fit. And if I massage it or modify it or tweak it or change it to meet my needs, my environment, my knees, back, or shoulders, well, you know, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm kind of doing something that's, whatever. But that's not the case at all, man. Like you can, if if you're understanding the workout and you're trying to replicate it as best as you can, you're gonna crush it. And I think you're good proof positive of that. So that's pretty cool. Do you
yeah.
do you
I
draw a
have to
little bit of
say
a
it's something
crowd?
that comes with the years.
Yeah. Do you draw a bit of a crowd when you do that? People coming over asking you, what the heck are you doing here?
It's mostly the kids. It's mostly the kids because I'm on their turf, literally. And
Right.
so I try to squeeze in my workouts when I know there is, you know, the biggest chance of me being only in the
Yep.
playground.
Yep.
So I
Yep.
try to avoid the Wednesday afternoons are usually off here for schools in the primary schools. So this is where the playground would be mostly occupied.
Okay.
The weekends, similar thing. So I try to maneuver my workout time a little bit around that. But you always have those boys and girls who are inspired and asking questions about, oh, can I lift this barbell? Can I lift this dumbbell? And say, oh, careful, careful, because they're pretty heavy, right? And these kids are the age from 4 until I'd say 12-year-olds. So they do want to get and join me into these workouts, which is sometimes a little bit annoying. I have to be
Sure.
honest
Yes.
because
No,
it's
I understand.
my time and I have
Yep.
my own kids, and
I
but at the
understand that.
same time, I realize, you know, there once was a guy, a boy I remember, and a friend of mine told me that the remark he made was quite a remarkable remark to make because he said to his mother, "Look, mom, that man is he stronger, even stronger than dad."
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that makes me really, really, yeah, enjoy those moments in the playground as well.
Well, I guess even before we get to your, how you started this whole journey, since you are at work, are you the sole individual at work that, eats a little bit different and goes and works out, or have you inspired any of your coworkers to kind of, are they asking
Um,
questions?
well, I have to say I'm a bit lucky in my team,
Hmm.
my isolated team. We all have one way or another activity into sports.
Oh,
My
nice.
manager does do CrossFit as well, but usually she does more like the outside, the organized kind of things. I have a runner in my team. I have a former rugby player in my
Oh,
team, so I'm kind of
nice.
blessed in my team where we kind of connect at the same level of what we think is important in life. Others obviously are really astonished about the amount of food I bring to the office on a daily basis. So yeah, I fit all the stereotypes there.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, tell us a little bit, when I started doing these interviews and people would email me, just a little bit of their story or whatnot. Yours was very cool because it has a lot of different twists and turns, but correct me if I'm wrong, but you started initially not lifting weights or anything like that, but as a
No,
football player, what us Americans would call soccer, but you started
exactly.
playing
Yeah.
football. What was that journey from football to now
Well,
CrossFit?
yeah. So my dad always played football, soccer, for his whole life, and basically that was the only go-to sport for me when I was a kid. Unfortunately, well, at that time I thought it was unfortunate. Later on, I grew to love the sport. So I played that for 30 years, and it was nothing other than football, 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 football. And then I started to go a little older. Family life happened, so I couldn't basically sustain that football way of living. We kept playing against 20 odd year olds, and we were already in our early 30s. So you just can't keep up anymore. So basically, that journey kind of stopped. And my then girlfriend, now wife, introduced me to the world of fitness. She was already doing a lot of fitness herself. I was always looking at it from the stereotype, oh, those are the people in gorilla wear looking at themselves in the mirrors, and I
Sure.
don't want to be part of that. However, she introduced me to the gym, and I started I literally didn't know what a bench press was. Honestly, I had never done it before. So you can imagine if you never touched any weight, the transformation is huge, especially in the first
Of
few months.
course,
So I
yeah.
liked what I saw, but I missed the competition element to it, to just lifting weights was kind of boring to me.
Hmm.
And then I read an article in, I think it was the Men's Health, about Jared Butler and his transformation for the movie 300. That, that led me to the Spartan workouts. And I started doing those, and I kind of enjoyed those. And then I started Googling because I was a little bit bored again about the programming being very limited in options. And then I ran into the Spartan race,
Mm.
and I figured, oh, that's fun, but it wasn't organized in Europe at that time, only in the UK, which is a bit too far away from where we live to just do a run in the UK.
Hmm.
And then I started Googling, and Spartan Race was sponsored by Reebok, and the wonders of the internet, there was this thing called the Reebok CrossFit Games, and I was like, wow, what's this? And that was like 10 years ago or so. And I figured, oh, this is what I've always been looking for.
I was
So,
gonna say
mm,
that must have satisfied that competition
oh,
bug you had.
absolutely, absolutely. And me and one of the personal trainers in the gym I was then training, we started to basically do these benchmark workouts and just trying to figure our way out. And in Europe, CrossFit wasn't as big as it was already in the US back then. It was still in the early days. You had a few boxes
Sure.
here or there. I mean, I think like maybe 10 boxes across the whole of the Netherlands.
Crazy.
And so, yeah, we basically started just doing it. And we enrolled after 3 months doing CrossFit-like training into the Lowlands Throwdown, which was still then a very community type of throwdown. And yeah, basically it skyrocketed because the guy is now owning two or three, no, three CrossFit boxes. He's a professional coach to elite athletes, and Yeah,
And
I'm still a
and
ambitious amateur.
tell us a little bit about the Lowlands Throwdown. Like what sort of people go and compete there? You know,
Oh, right.
is it a fun
So,
competition? Do people take it like dead serious? Like what's it all about?
oh yeah, it's definitely taken serious. So originally the lowlands, so for those who don't or not too familiar with the European mainland, the lowlands are basically the Benelux, so Belgium, the Netherlands, and Luxembourg together. And the lowlands was originally just, I think, 4 or 5 boxes in the Netherlands that figured, oh, we got to do a competition between our boxes. And they start literally just in a gym at the school doing these workouts, wearing all sorts of weird clothes, which in the heydays of CrossFit was pretty
Right.
common. The long socks and everything.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And that basically grew and grew and grew into a proper competition, which also got some international traction. So you had all sorts of athletes coming over from Germany and also Belgium and Luxembourg and France. And it kind of grew out of proportion. And then they started to basically do these workouts in a proper stadium and do a qualifier. And the unique thing about the Lowlands was it was always a predefined weekend. It was 1 day of workouts, 3 workouts in a prescribed order. So 1, 2, and 3 had to be in the same sequence on the same day, like you were already doing a competition.
Okay.
And you could either do it twice, but only the 1 day score would count. So if you were doing it on Saturday and you had your score and you still had the energy to redo it on Sunday, and you didn't like your score on Saturday, but Sunday was better, then you can only do the 3 you did on Sunday.
I
So
see.
that was
Okay.
the qualifier, and then you went to the finals in the stadium. And they had all sorts of age categories, etc. So well organized. I would say, maybe I'm a bit biased, one of the best tournaments in Europe. And it was also seen by CrossFit HQ, because they also were able to do the semifinals last year here in
Ah,
Amsterdam.
okay, gotcha. So
Yeah,
this competition caught your eye and
yeah,
you dove into it?
yeah. That was I at that time I wanted to do 2 competitions a year. One was the Lowlands Throwdown, and the other one was the Masters Throwdown, which is also an international tournament in Europe, particularly for Masters, and now also teams.
Okay. And were you taking these competitions? I guess my question is like, were you doing your casual training and then hey, a competition would pop up, I'm gonna go see how I do, or were you starting to,
No,
train like a games athlete
I went
multiple times a
full
day?
in. Yeah, and I've learned that was a mistake. To be honest. Yeah, I wanted too much with, I followed a competition program, which basically meant you were supposed to be training 3 hours a day for 5 days,
Hmm,
which I could not live up to because of work, because of family, kids.
sure.
We all know the deal. So I tried to squeeze everything in the available time I had, whereas other athletes following the program, they did a piece in the morning, they did a piece in the afternoon, and a piece in the evening, because they were already working or in the environment of a gym or a CrossFit box. So they basically were able to split their
Right, right.
workload into across the day. I was just pushing it all into the 1.5 hours I had, and yeah,
And how long did
mistakes.
you keep that up?
2 years.
2 years. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then the knee started to hurt really badly.
Uh,
Yeah.
I
And I'm not
gotcha.
saying it was caused by it, but it didn't help either.
Yeah, no, sure, sure, sure. And with all of us go through different phases, ups, downs, journeys, lessons learned, all that kind of stuff. And, for each person out there, something different and sustainable too, to
Yeah.
be quite honest with you, at different phases of their life and all that. So I'm guessing that at a certain point in time, maybe what seemed to be small little, your knees are a little upset, but if they're just a little upset, you can kind of ignore because they're just a little upset. And then
Yeah.
if they're talking to you a little louder and they get your attention, and eventually when your knees, your back, your shoulders, when they start screaming at you, then you can't ignore them
No,
anymore. So, what was
in
your
my case, my
evolution?
body definitely said hard stop.
Okay.
No. I got a full lock out of my knee, and I couldn't get up. I was like a flamingo standing up on one leg, and the other
Oh,
one I
really?
couldn't fully flex anymore. It was really, really bad. Yeah.
So
And
what was your thought process, because some people might do that and just say, this isn't for me. I'm going to go back to whatever,
well,
soccer,
the weird
classic
thing was,
bodybuilding.
the weird
What was your
thing
thought
was
process?
it was during a squat session, but I had, let's say, the arms out for protection.
Hmm.
So it was a 3 times 10. I still remember a 3 times set max weight. And on my last reps, I failed at the 10th rep. So I let the bar go on the arms. I was sitting down, trying to get up. So there was no barbell, no weight involved. I tried to get up and my knee locked out.
Mm,
Just like no movement at all and
yeah.
sharp pain. And then I gave it a rest. Day after, I could stand on it again. 2 days after, I could cycle. There was no pain. There was nothing. So I figured, okay, that's odd. Maybe take it a little bit
Yeah. Yep.
down on the weights. And then a couple of weeks thereafter, I was sitting on my knees on the attic. Same thing, walked out. And then I
Mm,
started figuring, okay, something's off. Something's off. And it turned out to be damaged cartilage. So there's probably a piece of cartilage that got into my knee joint, and that was causing the lockdown. Because in full flexion, then it gets the space to get into your knee cap, so to speak. And then, yeah,
God
there
damn.
it was.
Okay. I can't speak for, how old are you?
48.
I'm 47. I'll be 48. I'll be 48 next month. And
Oh, so we
it's
share the same birth year.
yeah, it's
75.
yeah, 75. And it's funny, like don't get me wrong, being strong and fit and all that, it's phenomenal. And that's all of us are trying to optimize everything, right? We want to get the best squat, the best
Oh,
5K
yeah.
run, the most pull-ups, like, and that's good. But maybe something you don't realize until it happens to you is as cool as it is to be an absolute beast in fitness, it's way cooler to have a pain-free body. Way
Absolutely.
100 times cooler. Like, and I didn't get that and maybe you don't get that until you actually tweak something, and then things that you took for granted, like you're so used to being strong and fit, and I can squat this thing, and all of a sudden you do one little thing to yourself, and you look at a set of stairs and you go, oh, geez, I don't even know if I can get up that. And all of a sudden it's like, what good is that
Yeah.
monster back squat? You can't even walk up a set of stairs or pick up your kid or
No,
tie your
exactly.
shoes without like a lightning bolt of pain in your back. Some of those lessons are hard learned, and it took me a while to learn them, quite frankly.
Yeah. 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 I am the same. I am the same. And the word you've used several times in your podcast, knucklehead. Yeah.
Yeah. We've
That's
all,
me.
hey, we've
That's
all
me,
been
all right.
there. We've all
Yeah.
been there. So this happens to your knee, and what is, what's, how does your training change from that point? Because you're obviously, I can tell from talking to you, you're the
Yeah.
sort
Well,
of guy, you're not going to just
I
sit
had,
down, you're going to be active.
I really had a hard time accepting the fact that my body wasn't cooperating anymore. So I was still in the competition mindset. I had ambitions. I wanted to go to the Lowlands Throwdown again after qualifying and being in the final for the first time. And then the year
Sure.
after, I was this close to making it to the qualifiers again. And then the knee happened. So I had a hard time letting it go, and I kept on continuing into the CrossFit competition program, and I got frustrated because the knee wouldn't cooperate.
Yeah.
So I couldn't do the squats. So I had to do everything on a box, and one thing led to another. I got more frustrated. One injury led to another. I got more frustrated. And then luckily, I would say the lockdown happened.
Mm, sure. Yeah. I understand.
And I wasn't able to do all that crazy stuff from the program anymore because I was at home and I didn't have all the equipment that we just discussed. And I started to find ways to get fitness in. And this is how I was already following the Linchpin Instagram page, and I was
Mm.
doing if we were a bit curious, we want to do something else. We did the Monday Madness.
Not sure. The Monster Mash.
the Monster Madness on Mondays, and those were the kind of workouts that I started to cherry pick, if you like,
Mhm.
when we were all in the lockdown. And I think, oh, I could do that from that, and I could that from that, and that and that. And then I started to notice that my body was feeling much better, less text in a short time frame, getting full fitness in. And I was like,
Mhm.
oh wow, this is great. Why not start and enrolling to the in this to this 30-day trial and see what it's really all about? And never regretted that decision ever
That's
since. So
cool. I mean,
yeah,
makes me super happy. But as awesome as that is, and you're a wonderful part of the community and super active, and people love following your posts and progress and all that stuff. But you still enjoy throwing down. So, you still
yeah,
have, a bit of a desire to go
yeah. There's this little
mix it up,
devil on my shoulder that is
which is
always
great. It's great.
looking for competition, one way or another.
But what
And
I always
I guess
get a kick
it's
out of
it's in my
you,
DNA
I
because
get
I see it in my kids as well.
I
They all have it.
I'm very open and honest with Linchpin. Is like, look, we're not a competition program. Like, don't get me wrong. You'll be ferociously fit if you want to go throw down. You can go throw down, but if you've got to do 3, 4, 5 workouts a day, like that sort of volume, you're just not going to be exposed to. But you've gone ahead and still taken the Linchpin programming and got yourself into some competitions, right? You still went back
Yeah,
to the lowlands.
yeah. No, exactly. I wanted to. It was basically for me something like I don't know. For me personally, to show to myself that I could still do it because I felt my body was in a better shape than before, and just wanted to test to see if I could do and make that lowland throwdown finals with just this program. And yeah, that worked.
That's cool, man.
So I was
That's super
really,
cool.
really happy to see that. And actually it worked. It worked twice because I also qualified for the German throwdown. And unfortunately, my back had a different idea about it because,
Mm-hmm.
in all honesty, I was putting on pressure on myself for that one because that was actually before the Lowlands finals.
Okay.
So I put more that the old beast started to work, and I was putting more pressure on my workouts. I wasn't approaching them the same way as I am usually doing. I was constantly, oh, this has got to be faster, better, stronger, and that kind of backfired on me. So that was a valuable lesson there
Man,
for that one.
I say this all the time, and I stand by my words that strength and conditioning is pretty easy. People are hard.
Yeah,
Like to
no,
have
absolutely.
people where everyone is dealing with a little bit something different. Some people have a tough time getting into the gym. That's the devil that they need to face. Some people want to get into the gym too much. That's their devil. Some people actually scale too much and they actually need to push themselves a bit more. Some people are the total opposite. They should probably scale more frequently. So, everybody, we all have our things that we need to work on, and it's going to probably be a lifelong deal because none of us are perfect. And
No,
as
yeah,
we get closer and closer, we'll have better and better experiences. It's and that's
absolutely.
what allows us to share with people some of the things that we've learned the hard way. So maybe that's a good thing to do right now is, if there's some people watching or listening who are interested in getting into this, they are active, maybe they've got a busy life or whatnot, but they're sitting on the fence and they're hesitant. What is it that you wish, you started around 2013, I want to say, what is it that you wished you knew back then that you've learned over the last 10 years or so?
Well, it's definitely the less is more.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
And the
And this is why the program resonates so well with me. Just, you focus on that particular workout, you value the heavy days, and that's just it. And like you said several times in podcasts and interviews, the traditional view of, and I do the occasional drop in when I'm traveling for work, for
mm,
instance, or on holidays. I do a drop in a CrossFit box, which I always really much appreciate because you get a
absolutely.
different environment, different people, locals, which can help you figure out things to see, things to do in the environment. But there's mostly it's the traditional approach of, oh, we're going to do this heavy lift and then we're going to do a workout. And yeah, I've learned to, okay, we'll do just, I don't know, a 60, 70%
Smart,
max. We're not maxing out here
smart.
because, It's not worth it.
Yep.
It's not worth it. It's not going to work all condensed in this 60-minute time frame.
Mm.
No way. No.
It's not going to end well. So
No.
what is you've got your, from what it seems, you've got your working out down, you got a good groove happening, you figured out what works for you. How's the nutrition side of the house? Is that easy for you, or does that take some discipline?
I have to be honest. I'm pretty blessed, I would say, genetics wise. My wife always said, "You could have been so fat." Because before when I was just playing football, and it was nothing professional or anything, but it wasn't. It was also combined with lots of beer and all the bad behavior that comes with it, with
Sure.
bad food choices, etc., etc. I did have, let's say, some body fat, but I wasn't huge either.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a 10-year in between photo on my Instagram somewhere, which is basically before training and after training, 10-year difference, and I look so much better, obviously. But yeah, so food, I'm blessed, but I have a huge sweet tooth. So
You and me
pastries and
both.
everything. Oh, especially when we're traveling to Portugal and all the other Southern European countries, they have so much variance on pastries and everything. I probably would be fat there. Yeah, let's put it like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, other than that, I try to pay attention to my food, so it would be, yeah, well balanced. Let's put it that way.
Nice.
And
But
I
that's
treat
part of life.
myself. Yeah, people won't believe it, but I eat pizza every week.
Good for
But
you.
it's a handmade pizza, So you basically determine what ingredients you put on there. And instead of cheese, I do garlic sauce. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, kind of,
Well,
yeah.
I think you can do stuff like, well, you're living proof, but plenty of people, like, you can do stuff like that in moderation, intelligently, and then doing that, keeps you from just going off the rails terribly. Like, I know a lot of people that try to say, well, I'm never going to eat bad ever again. I'm like, well, that's not going to work out too well.
No, you got to
You're gonna
treat
do that
yourself.
for a while, and then you're going to explode, and then you're going to be constantly in this up and down and up and down. Whereas somebody figures out, I eat well, most of the time, and I allow myself these little treats, and that helps keep me sane. And then it actually makes me appreciate eating well the other days, and you find this nice rhythm. And I think all of us find that rhythm eventually, some sooner than others, but it's great when you actually do well. Man, I appreciate you scheduling us into your workday to make this little chat
Yeah,
happen.
yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah, man,
And
and
honored.
yeah, well,
I think I'm the first European to be featuring in this.
I think so. Who did I? Well, I spoke to um, somebody over in Japan, but
Yeah,
I think you're correct. I think you're correct.
yeah,
You're the first
yeah.
one, man.
I listen
But
to all the podcasts while I'm walking the dog, so I'm pretty sure I'm the first one.
yeah, well, people love seeing your dog posts as well.
Ah,
But
yeah.
in all honesty, like, I say this all the time, but the people in Linchpin make it special, and you're one of those people. And, like, thank you very much for just your presence in the groups. It's amazing what an online community can
It
actually be
truly
when
is.
it's full of
Yeah,
great people.
I'm actually amazed about this. Well, particularly the private Facebook group, and I have a few people who also follow me, and I follow them through Instagram. It's really astonishing to see how much people all over the globe have, let's say, one way or another, the same interests and the same passions, and we all found our way into this
Hmm.
beautiful Linchpin group. It's really remarkable, and yeah,
Yeah, we're very
I'm really blessed
fortunate.
that I found this group.
Hey, you and me both. We'll keep doing it. We'll keep supporting one another, and get back to work over there.
Yeah.
All right,
Thank you.
Paul.
Enjoy
Thank you
your
very
coffee.
much, man. Talk to you
All right.
soon.
Bye, Pet.